Hello, welcome to Alchemy Animation. It is the 7th part of a series called My Messy Marriage. Let's begin. Suddenly someone hit their car from the back. Both of them felt a collision. Sunbae was looking back and saying what the hell. Both of them came out of the car. Sunbae started to click the pictures of the crashed car. He called someone and said, "Hello, I'm calling because I was in a collision. My rear bumper has been damaged." However, Soran came outside and she was feeling pain in her stomach. Sunbae looked towards her and said, "One passenger is in need of medical care." In an angry way he knocked on the window of other car and said, "Step outside of the vehicle." The person was not listening at all. In an angry way he said, "Get out." The person opened the window and said, "This big piece of shit." Sunbae was thinking that what the hell? Is this alcohol I smell from him? The person said, "How dare you hit my car, you little piece of shit?" Sunbae said, "Hey, have you been drinking?" The person came out of the car and said, "Wait a second, how old are you? Did not anyone teach you to respect your elders?" Sunbae said, "You think you deserve respect just because you are older? You age even if all you do is eat and sit at home every day, you son of bitch." Soran was thinking that I can't believe Sunbae was talking like that. I have never seen him speak like that before. The person said, "You little shit, don't you dare lecture me. When you are out here driving around town in broad daylight with a chick by your side, do you even know who I am?" Sunbae said, "Yes I do," and said, "Who drinks and drives in broad daylight?" The old man grabbed his t-shirt and said, "What did you just say?" But Sunbae grabbed his wrist very tightly. The person was shouting from pain and saying, "Let go, damn it, let go of my arm." Soran came towards him and said, "Sunbae, please stop, you should not use physical force." And then suddenly she again felt the pain in her stomach. Sunbae noticed it, so he came towards her and asked, "Soran, are you alright?" The old man said, "Cut your crap. I know you are just trying to do everything you can to get some settlement money. My wrist is broken, you hear? I'm going to press charges for this and everything else and throw you in jail. Just wait. I know some lawyers." Sunbae said, "Oh yeah, that's it." He looked towards him and said, "Well, that's nice to hear, because I know a lot of lawyers too." On the other side, Kang grandfather was standing outside of the Soran brother restaurant. He was thinking that this place looks quite familiar, and I think I have been down this street before. It's been so long that my memory is a bit hazy. He looked towards his secretary and said, "You may go now, Mr. Gu. I have some things to discuss with Seongjin." The secretary said, "But sir, you are not feeling well." The grandpa said, "I'm still fit as a fiddle, so don't worry. You should take this opportunity to go home early and call your daughter who is living abroad." The secretary said, "Thank you." He was moving towards the restaurant. The secretary was noticing all of it, and he called Jin-sung's mother. She was saying, "Why are you calling me about that?" The old man just probably did not have anything better to do. "You just stay put, and be prepared to send someone if I need them for that." "Alright, bye." Her brother was also sitting there. He said, "Come on sister, it never hurts to be careful." The woman said, "Shut up, just let me do the thinking. You know that I am the one who keeps your good damn company running." The man said, "Fine, do what you want." The woman looked towards her another brother and asked, "You? I send you off to dig up some dirt on Soran, but instead you get yourself into a car accident." The old man said, "Come on, have some sympathy for your little brother. I'm in a neck brace, for God's sake." She shouted, "Sympathy? You rammed into another car while driving drunk again. Did you find anything on her?" He said, "No, not yet." He was thinking that she will give me an earful if I tell her the car I crashed into was the one Soran was in. The woman asked, "When are you going to sell the building?" The old man asked, "What building?" She replied, "What do you mean, what building? The one with that moonlight dinner or whatever it's called. But are you still holding on to it? We set it on fire and got what we needed years ago. The old man said, have a little patience. I'm going to get people talking about redeveloping, and then sell the building. You will make quite a bit of profit from the sale that sales. Her another brother said, let's take it easy, people. We have already got a bunch of plans in motion. The woman said, whatever, you guys just follow my lead. I'm going to save our family. At the restaurant, Seongjin was saying this restaurant has been running for 30 years. And my parents used to own this restaurant, and I took over their business. Kang's grandfather said the interior looks very clean for 30-year-old building. Seongjin said, well, actually a fire broke out a few years ago, so we had to completely renovate the place. Grandpa said, oh dear, how did you pay for the damages? Seongjin replied, Soran and the insurance company took care of it. I felt so ashamed then because I could not do anything to help. The grandpa said, I think Soran grew up to be a smart and competent woman because you raised her well, son. The grandfather was thinking that just as I expected, he doesn't seem to know about Soran borrowing money from Jin Sang family. At any rate, seems a lot of fires break out in this neighborhood. Seongjin replied, yes, it must be because many of the buildings are old and run down. There was a huge fire when I was really young, and I also once called 911 to report it. The grandpa was remembering the painful memory of Kang, and Kang's parents was also burned in the fire. The grandpa said, I also have a painful memory associated with the fire that broke out in this neighborhood. Since you have lived here for a long time, you might know of the place. Then Seongjin asked, which place are you referring to? Grandpa said, I'm quite sure it was located somewhere around this block. Though it was 30 years ago, so it might not be around anymore. But it was a newly opened restaurant at the time. It was called Jeon. After hearing this name, Jin Sang said, Jeon's Eatery. How do you know about that restaurant? Grandpa laughed and said, I owe it my life, so to speak. Kang does as well. We are both deeply in debt. Seongjin said, this is the place. The grandpa did not understand what he's trying to say, so he said, sorry. Seongjin replied, this place used to be Jeon's Eatery, and Jeon-mun was my mother's name. After hearing this in a panic state, the grandpa stood up. He was looking at Seongjin with a crying face. At night, Kang was rushing in the hospital towards the Soran's room. He said, Soran, what did the skin say? Soran said, you are here. I just have a slight fracture. They wrapped up brace around my abdominal area. It feels a little tight, but I'm okay. Kang was all sweaty due to the rush. Soran was thinking that, oh God, he looks so worried, like he's about to cry. If I had not gotten into an accident today, and we should start sharing a bedroom, then right about now we should probably be doing something great. After thinking about it, her heartbeat started to increase. Kang asked, are you alright? She said, yes, I was just thinking about something and it made me flinch. Kang asked what happened to the person who caused the accident. She replied, Sunbae said he will take care of it, but he thinks that the guy has done this many times before. Sunbae was gritting his teeth while saying he was going to do everything in his power to get him. Kang was thinking that I honestly want to chase after the guy and break all his ribs. But if it's Sunbae gritting his teeth, then I'm sure he will destroy the guy. Kang said, let's move you to a private room. She replied, there is no need for that. I'm perfectly comfortable here. Besides, my insurance doesn't cover private rooms. Kang replied, I can pay with my own money. Soran was thinking that, oh, I guess overthought process are totally different. Kang grandpa called him. He picked the call and said, yes, grandpa. His grandfather said, Kang, where are you right now? Are you with Soran? Kang said, I am at the hospital. Soran's been admitted. The grandfather asked, what? What happened? Kang said, please calm down. Why do you want to speak to us? The grandfather said, I will head over there with Songjun. Which hospital are you at? And after a while, both of them came to the hospital. Soran said, Oh grandpa and Opie. The grandfather came towards her and grabbed her hand and said, My sweet Soran. He was sitting on his knees with a crying face. He said, Thank you. Soran said, It was not a huge accident. I just need to stay here for 3 days. The grandfather said, The person who saved Kang from the fire, that person was your mother Soran. At that time, with a crying face, Soran's mother said, I'm sorry, I could not save the baby's mother and father. Apparently her mom and Kang's parent used to be neighbors. They always looked out for my mom, who was living alone at the time. They've always helped her. Like one time both of them came to her room, and Kang's father was fixing the light. He was saying, I'm gonna fall. Kang's mother said, Why are you such a scaredy cat? I'm holding on to the chair. And thanks to their help, Soran's mother was able to get through her tough days during those times. And then one day there is a fire. All of the neighborhoods were standing outside of the house and they were saying, Where are the firefighters? Did someone call 911? Another one said they said it will take time for them to get here because the alleyway is so narrow. What are you going to do? But Soran's mother was rushing towards the house. The other neighborhoods were shouting, You should not go in there. What are you doing? Someone stopped that woman. But she was holding a stone in her hand and hit it on the gate lock. After opening the gate, she was seeing that both of them were covering each other very tightly, and their son was in between them. At last breath, Kang's mother said, My friend, please take Kang. The firefighter came and they were saying everyone stepped back. Someone told them a pregnant lady just went inside. They were totally in a confused state, but then suddenly she came out of the house with a baby. And after that incident, Kang's grandfather came to meet Soran's mother. At that time he was giving her some money. She said, Sir, this is so much money I can't accept it. I was not even able to save your son and daughter-in-law. Kang's grandfather said, This is the only atonement I can offer and a way to repay you for saving the life of my grandson. He bowed towards her and said, So please take it. My mom held on to that money for years until she used some of it to buy a house around that time I was born. That's where my brother and I grew up. Then 3 years later, she used the rest of the money to open Ji-yeon's eatery, and sent Kang's grandfather a photo to show her the appreciation. At the current time, Kang's grandfather gave Soran the photo. All of them were looking at her. She was crying very hardly. Kang's grandfather said, I guess we were all destined to cross paths. With a crying face she looked towards Kang, and he smiled while looking at her. She also smiled back. At the office, Sunbae was investigating the person who crashed his car. That person's name is Hooman Park. He's 51 years old and he crashed into a car while driving under the influence. And yet the police are dragging their feet. Which means he's probably got connection with people high up in the organization. And it seems he's been able to weasel his way out of similar situation before. Sunbae smiled and said, I think I'm gonna be able to deal a bigger blow to him than I initially planned. After a while, all of them leave the hospital room and Kang and Soran were sitting alone together. Kang grabbed her hand and said, I'm going to pay more attention from now on. With a blushy face she asked, Pay more attention? He replied, Yes, I'm going to direct all my attention to you. Because you are the reason I'm alive and the reason for me to keep going. He touched her cheek and said, From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, my eyes will be on you. No, even in my dreams I'm going to think about only you. I'm going to cut back on work too. I'm going to follow you around all day. He came close to her and said, I will let you do whatever you want to do. I owe you my life. So I'm going to focus all my attention on you. With a smile, Soran said, I really like attention, and then both of them started to kiss each other while hugging. At the night both of them came back to the house. Soran said, "Oh my gosh, did you decorate the whole bedroom? Kang, you should have let me help you. It must have been a lot of work." But he did not say anything and grabbed her shoulder. He started to kiss her. They were thinking that we kept missing each other's signal, holding back our feelings and trying to not to act on our desires. And on top of that, we just found out about our past connection. They were kissing each other very intensely and thinking that neither of us could contain our urge anymore. Today is going to be our official wedding night. They removed all of their clothes. Kang said, "Don't think of getting any sleep because I'm going to keep you up all night." The heart of both of them were beating very fast, and then they did everything they want to do. After a while Kang fell asleep and Soran was still awake. She was thinking that, oh my god, oh my freaking god, what just happened? It was even more amazing than I imagined. Like when the cosmos was created, there was a huge explosion, but then it expanded. I want to feel it again, so she removed the blanket and came above him. He asked, "Was that not enough?" She replied, "You said you were going to keep me up all night, so keep your promise." After they did it again several times and then, after a while Kang asked, "Where are you going?" She replied, "Oh, I'm going to wash up first." But then again he grabbed her, and came above her, and said there is no need for that. The sun would not come up for another few hours. Soran was thinking that where does this man get his stamina? He started to kiss her on her neck and said, "Order me around again like you did before?" She asked, "Order you around? When did I do that?" He replied, "When you were on top." She said, "I don't remember, tell me when." She said, "Yes, just like that, keep going hard." And then she said, "I never ordered you around." In evening at 12 p.m. Kang was making the breakfast. Soran came from behind of him and asked, "Are you making breakfast, Kang?" "Sorry, I woke up so late, I should have helped." She was wearing only his shirt. But then again, after seeing her, he came close to her and removed the shirt. They did it again. Due to the lack of sleep, there are dark circles on Soran's eyes. After looking at the food, she said, "I don't think I can eat all of this." He said, "Don't worry, I can." Soran was thinking that it looks like he's determined to make me die by all happiness. I'm so happy. Kang said, "I'm very happy," after hearing that he was feeling the same thing. Her heartbeat increases. He said, "Being with the person you love truly fills your heart with joy. And if there is someone out there who has not experienced this before, I want to show them what it's like." Soran was looking at him with a smile. He said, "I should like to throw a housewarming party." Kang called Rin. She said, "What the heck, Kang? Don't call me on the weekend." He told her about the housewarming party. She said, "A housewarming party? I don't really care what your house looks like." He said, "It's just going to be me, Soran, and some people from the office. You should come." She said, "No thanks." He said, "Soran said she's going to call off the party if you don't come." After hearing this, she did not say anything. Kang replied, "I will take your silence as a yes, bye." After cutting the call, Rin was thinking that he just completely ignored my answer. I don't really want to go. But maybe it will be okay, since Soran invited me and everyone, there will be people from work. Someone rang the bell on her door. It was her mom. She entered into her house. Rin said, "What brings you here?" Her mother replied, "No particular reason, your grandmother kept pestering me, so I had no choice but to drop by." She said, "So you ran off to live on your own, so that you could live in this shoebox?" Rin said, "Well, it suits me. Now that you have checked on me, you should go." However, when she looked towards her mother, she saw that she was holding her image of the ultrasound. Her mother asked, "What is this?" Rin said, "That has nothing to do with you. Give it to me." And then her mother slapped her and said, "Get rid of the child, this house and your job, all of it. Move back in with us and we will set you up with someone. After hearing this, Rin smiled and said, I have been treated like a bird in my whole life. But now that I'm older, I guess you have found some use for me. Is there a company that's interested in making an investment in exchange for my hand in marriage? After hearing this in anger, her mother said, What little rascal? Rin pointed her finger towards the door and said, If you don't have anything more to say, please leave now, ma'am. After a while, Rin was sitting on the sofa and speaking to her child. She said, Hey Yomu, that was scary, huh? Mommy is sorry, it would not happen again. As soon as I'm done with this project, let's go somewhere far away. We will go live in a place where nobody knows who we are, just you and me. With a crying face she said, Even if no one welcomes you into the world on the day that you are born, Mommy will welcome you with open arms, Yoma. On the other side, Seongjin was doing some editing on his laptop, and then he said, I'm done editing. He was checking his YouTube channel and thinking, let's see how my last video is doing. After opening the YouTube, he found that it scored almost 1 million views too. If I keep getting contacted by brands that want to partner with me, it's all a little overwhelming. Although I am grateful for everyone watching. And then suddenly, a voice came into his mind in which Rin was saying, See, I told you your channel was going to be a hit. And then he sat quietly. He was remembering his old days when he and Rin were sitting together, and he was saying, I don't know, I don't feel confident about making videos, and I don't think I can handle any more customers either. Rin replied, I'm not saying you should promote your restaurant, you have a lot to offer, Seongjin. I just want you to share your cooking with the world. She said you love seeing your food bomb the hearts of your customers. With a smile she looked towards him and said, wouldn't it be great to warm the hearts of even more people? Currently he was lost in his thoughts, but suddenly his phone started to ring. It was Kang. After picking up the call, Seongjin said, Hey Kang, what's up? Kang said, we are throwing a house-warming party and would like you to come. Seongjin asked, is it going to be family only? Kang replied, no, we are inviting all our friends and acquaintances, please come. Seongjin said, but I don't really know your friends. It will be uncomfortable for them. Kang said, you are one of the most important people in my life. There is no point in throwing a party if you are not going to be there, so please come. He looked outside of the window where Soran was playing with the snow and making the snowman. Kang said, all right, thank you. I will see you next weekend. With a happy face, Kang was thinking that both Seongjin and Rin are trapped. I was also trapped by the fears and trauma of my past. He came towards Soren and thinking that love is the key to breaking down the walls around our hearts. Both of them were smiling while looking at each other, and Kang was wearing the turtleneck t-shirt which was given by Soran. Suddenly Soran stood up and started to hug him. Kang was thinking that I want to give them the courage to go out into the world, and make them see the blessings that come from loving someone. That's the gift I wish to give them. At the office, Kang's friend were looking at him. He asked, hey Kang, what happened to you? Kang asked, what are you talking about? Hurry up and tell me where we are with the project. Chan said, it's just I've never seen you in those kind of clothes before. Kang replied, am I going to have to hear you say that every time I put on something new? Rin said, stop making unnecessary comments, Chan. We have a lot to cover today. She said, for our online cooking class, I have recruited verified influencer to teach the Japanese, Chinese, Indian, Italian, French, Turkish and fusion cuisine. So just check my email for details, but there is a problem. Chan said, wow, you already found that there is something weird going on with you two lately. You are working super hard as if this is your last project. Rin said, don't interrupt my flow. She was thinking that why is he so quick to pick up on things? Kang looked towards her and said, we don't have anyone to teach Korean cuisine. Rin said there is this specific image we are going for, and it's hard to find someone who fits the bill. Kang said let's widen our search. If someone has got talent, include them, even if they are not well known in the media. Rin said okay, I will do that. But it will still be hard to find someone. Chang said oh, there is this channel I watch all the time, you want me to show it to you? I am an amazing cook and I love cooking for Yeonhui. I was able to level up my cooking skill thanks to this channel, and my wife totally gushes about how he made the food. Rin said okay. That's too much information, just send me the link. Khan said don't forget about our housewarming party this weekend, I expect everyone to come. While saying this he was looking towards Rin. At home Kang was preparing the food. He said there is something I have to tell you before our housewarming party. So Ran said what is it? He replied it will come as a quiet shock to you. I'm sorry I did not say anything sooner. He turned around and said Rin is coming to the party. With a smile So-ran said of course he said, and so is the father of her child. So-ran asked the father of her child, you mean Yolma's dad? He said yes. In a shocked state So-ran said then are you saying he's someone we know? Who is it? Who is Yolma's dad? Kang said your brother Seongjin. After hearing this reply she was shocked very much. On the other side Rin opened the link sent by Chang about the Korean chef. In video Seongjin was telling the recipe and how to make it. While watching the video Rin was crying very badly. She was saying that my child, these hands they belong to your dad. He's the person mommy loves most in the world. Soren asked my brother is Yolma's dad. But how? Kang replied I'm not sure how they met, but what I do know is that Rin is in love with Seongjin. After saying this he looked towards Soran. She was crying and in a wavering voice she said, there is no way that my brother would do something like that. There is no way he would turn his back on someone who is in love with him. Kang came from behind of her and hugged her. He said I know he would never do that. That's why we must help them. She asked help them? But how? He replied I invited Seongjin to our housewarming party too. I told you about Rin parents, right? I'm sure Seongjin knew what they were like. He probably did not want to burden Rin. And Rin probably knew too, that continuing their relationship would make Seongjun's life very, very difficult. So I don't think they chose to break up. The decision was forced upon them by their surroundings, so the two of us are bound together by fate, in ways we can't even imagine. He said it affects not just you and me, but also the people in our lives that we love and care about. So if there is even a single note in the string, we must untangle it. After hearing this she said yes, we must do that. A few days later at the housewarming party, all of the guests were there. They were talking to each other in a happy mood. Rin was also there. She was sitting on the sofa while touching her tummy. She was thinking that hey Yolmu, it's really loud here, isn't it? Maybe we should go now that we have stayed for a respectable amount of time. So she stood up. Soran noticed it, and came towards her. She said Rin have some dessert. And then again whenever she was about to leave, Soran came every time to stop her. On the other hand Kang was talking to Seongjun on phone call. He asked where are you? Seongjun said I'm coming in just few minutes. After cutting the call both Soran and Kang were looking at each other. While Rin was trying to find her bag, she said Soran I can't find my bag. Soran replied it's in the study room upstairs. Rin was a bit confused. She asked but why is it in study room? Soran don't have any kind of reply to her question. Rin said anyway I am leaving. I will just go and pick up my purse. Soran said you have to go out the front door and then turn left, then you will see a staircase. Rin replied I know, I saw it earlier. She was moving to the upstairs and thinking that, what's up with her today? This is such a hassle. She opened the door and thinking that where the hell is the study room? There are so many damn rooms in this house. Seongjin also arrived at the party. Kang greeted him and said hello. Seongjin said, oh, you did not have to come outside to greet me. Here, I got you guys a gift. Kang said, let's go up to the second floor at study room first. In a surprised state, Seongjin asked, but why the second floor? In a serious way, Kang replied, let's go to the study first. Seongjin was moving upstairs while thinking that what's wrong with Kang today? He looked upstairs and found that Soran was pushing the door. He asked her, what are you doing? She said, I'm just working out. He asked, why are you working out here? On the inside of the room, Rin was thinking that what the hell? There is nothing here that even remotely resembles my bag. While touching her tummy, she was thinking that, your aunt is acting really weird today. She was acting weird, but she had such a lovely smile, didn't she? Just like your dad. But then suddenly she realized something and thinking that, I feel like Soran's been watching me all night, and exchanging glances with Kang. She was also stalling for time to keep me from going home. She realized that maybe Seongjin was coming, so in a hurry state she was thinking that what have they done? I need to leave. However, suddenly Seongjin opened the door, and both of them were looking at each other. The heartbeat of both of them increases rapidly. Songjun said, Rin. She closed her eyes and in a hurry state she was trying to leave. But then he came in front of her and started to hug her. He asked Rin, how have you been? Rin was crying very badly and said, please let go of me. With a crying face he said, I have not been well, I missed you so much. She said, I did not miss you, even a bit. A few months ago at Seongjin's restaurant, someone opened the door. Seongjin thought that a customer came into the restaurant, so he greeted them by saying welcome, but then he was surprised after seeing a woman who was all wet. He said, please sit wherever you like. He was thinking that scared me. I thought I saw a witch. Rin sat down on the chair and said, I will have the set menu, and I want the soup served hot. However, he came towards her with a handkerchief and said, excuse me, here, use this. She looked towards his bright smile and said, thank you. He replied, your food will be ready in just a few minutes. Rin said, Seongjin, your yolma kimchi is the best. He laughed and said, I knew you should enjoyed it, so I made a huge batch. Rin was looking towards him and thinking that, I never knew that someone's smile could light up the whole room. After a few days she again came to his restaurant. He greeted her and said, welcome. You came by the restaurant a month ago, right? She replied, do you remember me? With a blushy face he said, yes, of course. He was thinking that you are so beautiful, how could I forget? With a blushy face and smile both of them were looking at each other. That's the moment their love started to begin. At the current time, both of them were hugging each other while crying. She said, let go of me, Seongjin. She was trying to push him and then shouted, let go of me, please. She was rushing away from him, but then suddenly she fell from the stairs. While she was in the air, she covered her tummy and thinking that, no, I have to protect my child, my Yolma. Khan noticed it, so he came in front of her and grabbed her. Both of them fall on the ground. Seongjin was shouting, Rin and Kang, are you all right? After hearing the sound, Soren rushed towards them and said, oh my gosh, both of you, are you all right? Rin was crying and then she fell unconscious. She was remembering her old memory, when she was in a hotel and her mother said, I went to great lengths to set you up with the son of a major conglomerate. And yet here you are, cooped up in your room. How dare you stand him up? Rin replied, I told you I was not interested. Her mother asked, who is in the room? Get out of the way. Rin said, no, you should go. In the room, Seongjin was sitting there. He was listening all of their conversation, Both of them were arguing with each other. Her mother said, "Get out of the way. Let me see who this guy is." Rin was trying to stop her and said, "Stay right there, don't you dare take another step. If you do, I'm going to jump out of the window." After hearing this statement, Seongjun came into fear. So after that moment at the night on the bridge, he said, "We should stop seeing each other. I don't love you, Rin." She replied, "Alright, I wish you the best." She turned away from him and thinking that if being with me causes you pain and suffering, that would be hell for me. That's what I used to think. But then she looked towards him with a crying face and thinking that, I realized that a life without you was even a greater hell. And then she opened her eyes, she was wondering that where am I? Is this a hospital? And then she woke up and started to touch her tummy and thinking that, Yolma. Did something happen to you, Yolma? Seongjun was sitting beside her. He said, "Rin, the doctor said you are okay." She looked towards him and said, "Seongjun, what are you doing here?" He grabbed her hand and with a crying face he said, "You are okay and so is our baby." She also started to cry. He said, "I'm never going to let go of your hand, Rin, so please don't run away or hide. You are my entire world, so please just stay with me." While saying this, he started to hug her. With a crying face she said, "Okay, I would not run, I will stay right by your side, Seongjun." That's all for today's video. If you want to know what happened next, then like and subscribe, Alchemy Animation YouTube channel.